What's up YouTube? Today we're gonna stir up some drama with a tier list video. So we're gonna jump straight into this with the obvious ones. Nahida, S tier, she's the best character in the game. Yelan, S tier, she's the second best character in the game. El Haytham, S tier, he's probably the third best character in the game right now. He is way too good for a DPS unit. DPS unit should not be as versatile as he is while having such good AoE, front load, and yeah, he has pretty much everything. Next ones are going to be a bit less obvious. I would say Raiden Shogun is also still S tier. All of her DPS teams are still just as good as they were before Dendro, and now she also has Hyper Bloom teams, giving her even more viability. Who else? I think that's all that I would put in S tier. A tier, I would put Child. This international team is just way too good if you know how to play it. If you're bad at playing it, then he goes all the way down to a C, but for this list I'll assume you're good at playing his team, then I would put it in an A tier. Hu Tao, I'd also put it in A tier, she's pretty solid as a DPS. Wanderer, I'd put in front of them both though. He's super powerful while having such good quality of life, being able to hit enemies from basically halfway across the abyss, and most enemies can't even hit him to begin with, so yeah, he just has a ton of DPS and quality of life. Zhao, he's also up there. By the way, for the most part, these aren't in any particular order, so just because I have Child and Hu Tao in front of Zhao doesn't mean I think they're better than him. It's going to be too hard to rank everybody in the exact specific order, so don't take the exact order they're in, literally. But yeah, Zhao is really strong. He's got really strong both single target damage and AoE now with Faruzan. And he's really good at thresholding because he can run long rotations to just finish enemies off in one rotation instead of having to do two, so I'd say he's A tier. Sino is also A tier. His Crick Bloom teams are very strong. Oh, let's see. Well, actually, Kazuha, I would put him in S tier still. Even though he's not that great with Dendro, he's still really good. He's still S tier. This next one's gonna surprise. I think the Luke deserves A tier. His melt team is really freaking strong, especially if you have a Constellation 6 Kaya. I think people are really sleeping on how good the Luke actually is. Like, just look up some Melt Deluxe showcases. His melt team is really freaking strong. I really wish I had him. He looks like so much fun. Let's see. Ayato, I think he's an A tier as well. He's not the best at anything other than being a driver in Burgeon teams, but he's good at everything. So he's a really valuable. He's got really good pull value for just being good at everything you could want an on-field Hydro unit for. Kainari, he's also A tier. He's really freaking good in single target. I kind of want to put him in B tier because he's not good in AoE, but he's so good in single target I think it justifies A tier. But on the topic of single target, Yoimiya, I would put in B tier. She's really strictly single target and I don't feel like her damage justifies it, but she's still good enough to be B tier. Klee, I would put in B tier as well. Her teams are pretty strong, but she's so clunky to play that most people are not going to be able to play her optimally anyway. Yarmiko, I'd put in A tier. She's really good with Dendro now. Venti, I'm actually going to put in B tier. He's really good when he works, but he's just so seasonal now. There's not that much content that he works super great in. When he does work great, he's obviously in S tier, but the situations where he excels in are kind of rare now, so he goes down to a B. Ganyu, I would also put in a B. She's alright, but her DPS compared to that of the guys in A tier just is kind of lacking. But she's still good. Ayaka, I would also put in B tier. Like, when she works well, she's a high A tier, but there's so many enemies that can just move out of the way of her burst and make her lose so much DPS, and a lot of enemies in the Abyss these days can't be frozen because the Abyss has so many bursts now, and if she misses her burst, it's kind of depressing. Shenhe, I would put in B tier. She's good, just she's super niche. Don't think she deserves. Don't think she's strong enough in her niche to be worth. Well, no, let me rephrase that. She's strong in her niche, but I don't think her niche justifies A or S tier because it's just so niche. Ito's also in A tier. He's really strong. One thing I really like about Ito is he has really good AoE without even needing a grouper. He's still going to be hitting most of the enemies near you without needing any type of crowd control. That's really freaking convenient. Kokomi, this is going to be a controversial one. I'm going to put her in C. I don't actually think she's very good at all. Like, I know she applies the AoE Hydro for a good duration, but like, the enemies have to stay near her jellyfish, and like, aside from applying AoE Hydro and healing, she really doesn't do much of anything. Mona, I'm gonna put in B tier. She's good when she works, but it's like, not that many teams aside from Freeze can make good use of her to begin with, so I would put her in C, but I think B is fair. Kaching, I think she deserves an A. Eula, I'm gonna put in C. I don't think her team DPS is really low, and like, I know team DPS isn't everything, but like, her team DPS is really low for a 5-star DPS unit, and she has so many quality of life issues that I just don't think is worth the hassle for the amount of damage that she does. Zhongli, I'm actually gonna put in S tier, even though I know people say he's a DPS loss, but like, getting interrupted is a DPS loss, dying is a DPS loss, and Zhongli is just so convenient you don't have to worry about any of that. Even if he is a DPS loss on sheet, it's definitely worth it for a lot of people, so I think he deserves S. Jean, I'm actually gonna put in C. She can be alright, but it's like, how many teams actually want her on them? I can't think of many. Albedo, I'm also gonna put in C. I hate to do this because he's one of my favorite characters, but pretty much the only team he's good in these days is Ito Mono Geo. He is really good in that team, but like, that's pretty much the only case where he's good right now. Hopefully we get more Geo teams in the future that he'll be good in. Next is going to be Dendro Traveler. I'll put them in B. They're alright, they're just not that good because Nahida exists and their energy requirements are ridiculous, but if you don't have Nahida, Dendro Traveler is very valuable, so he still gets a B. E tier is going to be these three down here. Lumine is representing all of the Travelers except Dendro. Nemo Traveler can be good against enemies that their burst actually works against, but it's like, even then, why would you use them over Sucrose, Kazuha, or Venti? So yeah, that goes to D tier. Then Aloy and Chi-Chi are obviously just not good. And oh, actually, I forgot Nilo. I would put Nilo in A tier. She's really good. And yeah, I think this is just about how I would have my list. I don't think I would change anything with this. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with my list. If you disagree with anything, what do you disagree with and why?